Testing, testing. One, two, three. One, two, three. Testing, testing. Oh boy. Hey, there it is on Facebook too. 6:29. And I'm early today, but I'm a little preview the show. We got a big show coming up for you today in 30 seconds. I'm just going to do my pre-show warm-ups. Pre-show stretching. Should always stretch before you do a radio show. I'm going to take a little bit of the Celsius, a proud non-sponsor of the Steve Squared Show. Oh, that's good. 10 seconds till showtime. Let me see if I got my notes. I got everything ready. Oh, we got a big show for you today. There we go, 6:30. And the show is blazing. That's right. Long Island is up in smoke. Get your snuffers out because there was a little fire this weekend. They're now coast to coast, first LA and now Long Island. But ours is thankfully not as bad. Anyway, welcome to the Steve Squared Show. I'm your host, Funny Man Stevie K. We are coming to you live. You might recognize this location. I am, luckily, since I'm in between computers and I still had this problem with selecting my new MacBook, and I'm not in the studio tonight. In the interim, I needed to have access to, and I'm at Mac Central. So if you think you are at Mac Central when you go to the Apple Store or Best Buy, this has nothing on that. I am literally in Mac Central. I am at the gyms, the boys, and they are hosting the show. I want to give a shout out to them. And to, of course, Astro, the Wonder Dog. But we are, I have Mac computers at my disposal. And the show, people have complimented, not on the show, because the quality is, the content is always ridiculous, but they commented for the first time on the production of the show. It really, 2 weeks ago we were here and it streamed. They said, I couldn't believe it, because usually when I do the show from another location on my old Mac, it would be glitchy. You would hear the show. It would look like one of those, remember those bad Saturday afternoon Kung Fu movies where you'd hear the voice? How are you? So it's kind of like one of those. Now you can see the voice is in sync with my lips, which is always good. And I'm telling you, this is, so it starts the show. The quality is correct. I'm wearing a hat today, even though you don't need a hat. It's gorgeous outside. A really nice day today, but not for my hair. My hair's a mess. You know what? Let me give you a little bit. It's not that bad. It's a little bad, but it's not that bad. It's a little crazy. It's got crazy hair. But anyway, so we got a big show for you today. Hey, there he is. How did you get in here? Astro's he's a ham. This dog is covered in ham. Here he is. What's up, buddy? All right. So, we got a cookie for you now, Astro. There you go. Where you going, buddy?
Astro, come here.
Hey, come on, Astro.
Hey.
Oh. No? Okay. All right. Anyway. We're back at the show. All right. So we had a little bit of but I didn't see any of the smoke. That was out in Riverhead. So luckily, I don't really make my way out to Riverhead that much. So that's where they contained most of the flames, if you will. It's crazy. Look at this. Forget it. I'm putting the hat back on. There we go. Beautiful. So how was your weekend? I know everybody was excited. Now I'm going to talk. I usually don't watch American Idol, but I have a little bone to pick with American Idol, along with a lot of other things. But let me first get something off my chest. So I'm running. I have a run on Saturdays that I do on the same path. I've been running the same path for years, okay, years. And you cross a couple of in the path, which is by the Massapequa Preserve, you cross a street and a crosswalk. Okay, so as you're crossing, you take a peek, but cars know. If you're over here, you know to approach with caution. And as I'm coming up to the crosswalk, I always take a peek and I acknowledge the cars because they always stop. And the speed limit anyway is about 25 there. And then as a driver, you know to approach with caution. So I'm coming to the crosswalk and I look and I start to go. And then I was like, this guy's not stopping. He's like speeding up. He had to be going 50, 60 miles an hour. Then he stopped short. So then I see he stopped, so I'm going to cross, and I got my headphones on, and I hear something, and I turn around, and I open my headphone, and I was like, are you talking to me? And he was yelling at me, saying, you can't just, you got to watch, you got to look, and that's all he needed to do. And I went berserk, and I blame this on my upbringing. I have no self-control. So if my mom is watching, this is all her fault. I went insane. I just... I had no control, no self-control. I just told the guy, I said, are you crazy? I said, this is a walkers, runners crosswalk. This is our path. It's not for you to be. I go, first of all, you're going about 100 miles an hour, and there's people with dogs, bicycles, baby carriages. I mean, who are you looking to take out here? And then we started yelling back and forth. And the running community is, God bless them, they're such a great community because they all came behind me and they started yelling at the guy. So he was in his car with his wife. I don't know, they probably were filming some episode of Cops because that's where they look like they should have been on. The runners took over. They were yelling at him like, this is a runner's thing. And then I continued on because I'm on a certain time pace. I have no time. I don't schedule in arguments during my run. So this guy kind of threw my run off for a minute or two. But then I continued on. But it was okay. All good that ends well. All's well that ends well. But my point is you have to watch whether you're a driver or a runner. And people on foot, and I get it, in parking lots when people are like on their phones and they're not paying attention and you're backing out, you should always understand what you're doing as someone that's a pedestrian. But, this is a runner's area. So come on. So that got me a little cheesed off. And then that evening, American Idol is on, okay? So the first episode was last night, right? The first episode of American Idol. So American Idol is fugazi to begin with, right? It's a pageant for singers. It's filled with drama. Everybody's got a story a mile long. They lost this person, their dog got this, and their grandmother got shot out of a cannon. They can't find her. Nobody knows where anybody is. So I wrote this song. Okay, good. You cry for 10 minutes. Everybody's got a sob story. I've never heard not one contestant on that show that doesn't have some kind of horrible story, which obviously that makes for good drama. I get it, but it's a little overkill. It loses effect. It's like the boy who cried wolf syndrome. After a while, it's just you're numb to it as an audience member. Use it sparingly. Use it judiciously. Don't just use it for every single person because then it's fugazi. It's just not real. Anyway, so the American Idol is obviously this contest for people to get some exposure and whatever. Sometimes there's local singers and that's fine. I have no problem with that. I do have a problem last night when Brian Luttrell, famously known for being one of the Backstreet Boys' son, is on the show. So you're telling me that this guy who was a member of the Backstreet Boys, he needs to have his son on American Idol. He has no windows or he has no doors to open for his stupid son that can't sing. That was horrible last night. And, well, that's probably why. So the father comes out, he's behind the little stupid curtain, and he comes out. It's the three judges, Lionel Richie, Carrie Underwood, and whatever other idiots there, Luke Braun, I don't know who else is there. And they're like, come on out. So the two of them sing this song the kid wrote with a folk guitar. It's always a folk guitar. They all sound the same. The kid had the same voice as everybody I've heard on that show. They all have, all the guy singers, they all have the same, and all the girl singers sound the same. They all have this, and I'll tell you who is great and who really tells it what's going on. Listen to Harry Connick Jr. because he describes how they all sound. They all sound like American Idol contestants. It's one sound, whether it's male or female. It's this not able to hold a note. It's trying to show that you can hit different notes and going. It's like you ever hear the Star Spangled Banner and nobody sings it clear. They all have to hit all these crazy notes, and you don't understand the song anymore. That's how they all sound. So this kid sounded horrible. Why is he there? It's American Idol. It's for unknown people. It's not for. It's not like I mean, who's going to be next? Like Taylor Swift's daughter? Like, come on, what are you doing? I don't think she's married anyway. She's not having a Swiftie yet. By the way, I'm having a nice icy warm Celsius, another proud non-sponsor of the Steve Squared Show. What else happened this weekend that annoyed me? And speaking of American Idol, do you remember? That young man, William Hung, who sang the Ricky Martin song "She Bang, She Bang"? So, in case you were wondering, what had happened to him 20 years ago to yesterday when they started that season, he made that funny episode. And he became famous for being a horrible singer. He's now on his third wife. Luckily, he's just getting over a gambling addiction, and he went back to school for criminal justice or something. I'm not really sure, but he's doing well. I thought you might like to know how he's doing. Just on an American Idol tidbit, I watched a great movie over the weekend. In case you're interested, an oldie movie. My mom's always recording these things. She said this is going to be a movie you'll like. She's a big Paul Newman fan, so I said I'll take a look. And it was The Hustler with Jackie Gleason. It was about billiards, pool, which I'm a big pool player. And so we have a pool table in my folks' house. And so I've always grown up playing shooting pool, which I think is always a good life lesson growing up. You should always know how to be able to handle yourself in a pool hall. But it was Piper Laurie, Jackie Gleason, Paul Newman. It was a good movie. It was a little long for my taste. It was well over two. It was like 2.5 to 3 hours. It was way too long. Black and white, which I'm okay with. I like black and white. I mean, not a fan of the black and white cookie, but movies wise, I'm okay with. So I was watching the movie, and it was I would give it. I would say to check it out, but keep fast forward through a lot of it. A lot of it is a little minutia. You don't need to. They really should have edited it better. If you want to see a great Paul Newman movie, watch Somebody Up There Likes Me. That's one of my favorites. That's his first movie. Very good. Speaking of movies, we all know Gene Hackman just passed away. Great actor, one of my favorites, and I just wanted to give you some good movie recommendations for Gene Hackman. See, it's too bad that my partner in crime, Steve the Emster, is not here because he would give good insight into this. He's also a Gene Hackman fan, but some of the movies you might want to check out since we're also now. I was trying to find out how this guy passed away, and apparently his wife, 30 years his junior, passed away a week earlier. She had this rare virus or something, a heptavirus or something, hepta somethingitis, and you contract it by getting from a rose or a scratch or something. I'm not really sure. It's very rare. So she contracted this, and then she passed away. And then I guess he needed her to take care of him. He passed away a week later. It was a mess. But they thought there was foul play. They were trying to figure out, but apparently it's just how it happened. So some of his movies that I think you should check out, I'd like to recommend to you. Let's see what we got. First of all, if you want to go back to early Gene Hackman, you probably want to see The French Connection. Really good movie. What else do we got? Well, here are some of my favorites, of course. Get Shorty with John Travolta. He's more comedic in that. Birdcage with Robin Williams. And Nathan Lane is hysterical. He plays like this conservative senator guy. Runaway Jury. Another fabulous movie. I want to say Demi Moore is in that, but I don't think so. But check that out anyway. Runaway Jury. Another really good movie. And no, it's J. It's not Demi Moore. It is, and it's not Jake Gyllenhaal. It's John Cusack. Thank you. John Cusack is in Runaway Jury with Gene Hackman. Really good movie. Check that out. And that was, I mean, in Hoosiers, of course, the basketball movie. Who doesn't love Hoosiers? So that's some good movies to check out if you're, want to see. We always do that when a singer or an actor passes away. We start wanting to look at their work and revisit their work again. They become a little more popular. He's trending a little bit right now. He was 95 years old. So, I love this is also what I love about doing the show here is not only in this tranquil environment. I feel like I'm in one of these Japanese bathhouses or saunas, if you will. But it's got the gong, the every 15 minutes, the clock uh, dongs, gong, gong. So it's a good 15-minute signal for me. Um, I'm also announcing, I'll make a big announcement at 7 o'clock. Let me make an announcement at 7 o'clock. I'll wait till 7. Big announcement. I wrote that down so I don't forget. Because I have a big announcement I want to give to you people for being so loyal and watching this show. Um, who else was, who else was bitching in the news? Uh, Millie Bobby Brown, from Stranger Things. So she was taking a little flack uh, because she kind of has sometimes an English accent, sometimes she's in straight American accent. And I've noticed this with a lot of celebrities that they start taking on other accents, if you want to call it. I don't know if they don't want to speak just with a regular straight English accent, then they feel like something else gives them a little more esteem, a little more, uh, you know, darkness to them, a little intrigue. And I've seen Johnny Depp does it right. If you look at early Johnny Depp and now you look at him now, he's got some kind of pirate of the Caribbean accent that he speaks with now. It's not even English. I don't even know what it is. It's like an old English because he did too many of those Pirates of the Caribbean movies. He can't get out of that accent. Uh, and who else? Madonna, of course, is not the same. She speaks completely as if she's a Brit, and she's not. If you look at early Madonna, late Madonna, big difference. Who else? There was a couple of Ariana Grande speaks like Glinda from Wicked. She's another one that can't get out of the role. She just used to. She's got this like high pitched little voice that she speaks with now. I'm not really sure why. Um, and of course, we talked about it the other day when I was saying last week. Which, by the way, let's give a shout out to our guest Bob Spiato. Wonderful guest. He really enjoyed the Steve Squared show. He would be the first. Um, Really, he was a good guest, and he's that guy that does comedic impersonate. Not really. He doesn't like to be called an impersonator, but he does these kind of ode to uh, segments and shows that he does to people, which are really cool. So you could see him. He'll be at I think he'll be at the Plainview Library. If you look him up at the Plainview Library, he'll be doing, I think, a P.T. Barnum will be his next. So that's going to be pretty cool. But anyway, so what I was speaking on last week was on the Baldwins, that stupid reality show that Alec Baldwin is doing with his 9 kids. Oh, those kids are horrible. Wow. I mean, that is the perfect show to watch if you're ever thinking of having children. If you're ever thinking in your skull, not in your brain, but in your skull, deep into your brain, that you say, boy, I would love to have children. Watch 10 minutes of the Baldwins. He looks like he wants to put his head in a vice. He can't even get through the show, which is, I don't know if they tell the kids to go nuts for effect or if they're really like that. So Hilaria, whatever her name is, Baldwin, his wife, she goes in and out of Spanish accent to American, and it's not because it's for effect. and for what she's trying to serve and purpose. And so you just there's a lot of these people that do it. You know which actress doesn't do it, and I appreciate that the most is Leah Remini. She keeps her Queens, Brooklyn, real tough New York accent, whether she's acting. She doesn't even change. See whether she's acting on a talk show, just speaking on her Scientology expose. You got to watch that. That's really great. See, I'm in the market right now to join a cult. I feel that's what I need. First of all, preferably one that gets a better haircut than what I have. I need a cult, maybe like, they shave their head, whatever they do. If you can recommend a cult to me, please reach out to me on my Instagram, Stephen R. Kaminsky. But she's exposing Scientology as a cult, the L. Ron Hubbard cult. If you remember L. Ron Hubbard and his Dianetics or whatever. So she was involved in Scientology, famously known. And now the thing with Scientology is they have a lot of famous people that are all in. And most of all, Tom Cruise. And John Travolta is another famous one. Kirstie Alley, who passed away, is another famous one. There's a lot of them. So Leah Remini was in as since a child, but she's broke away because she saw how ridiculous it was. People have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to be involved in this nonsense. Any religion, organization, or something otherwise. Here's the one thing I go by. You shouldn't have to pay to pray. If someone's telling you, you want to pray, you want to be part of our religion, make the check out to cash, preferably cash. You can never go wrong making the check out to cash, right? So whether it's your plumber or your religion, you make the check out to cash and you can't go wrong. No, that's how you know right away something's askew. So these people who are looking to be saved, everybody wants help. I get it, right? I do that too. I watch Tony Robbins. We all want some kind of inspiration, and we question. But then you want to have a filter system and understand, this might not be the way to go, right? This looks a little cultish. It looks a little expensive on the bank account. And maybe I'll try a religion I don't have to pay and not be able to send my kids to college or get braces or whatever. So, but apparently loads of these people do, and it's a big celebrity thing. So she came out, she did a A&E. If you go on A&E and you watch her show, she also has a podcast, but if you watch the show on A&E, it's really good because she really exposes what they do, the ins and outs, and how they really are fanatical about the close-knit community and what they don't allow from outsiders. You're not allowed to speak about it, talk about it. You have to report on each other if someone uses a bad word, if someone says something, has a drink at a park, whatever it is, you have to report on it or you're in violation. So people are snitching on each other. It's a crazy. I just don't understand how people get involved in this. So anyway, she keeps true to her voice, and I appreciate that as someone that performs. And you can rest assured I will never go into another voice. I will never do the show with a British accent or an Aussie. I won't do that to you. Because my accents aren't that great. I might do a Southern. I've been working on my Southern accent, but other than that, you'll get me. You'll always get me. So, anyway, Brian Luttrell, yeah, it was his son that was on American Idol. It's ridiculous. He doesn't need help. But what are you going to do? Anyway, let's see what we got in the news. Is it 7 o'clock? Don't forget, 6:53, 7 o'clock. I got a big announcement coming up for you. Man, oh man, can I just tell you, I'm done with sports. Done. I don't remember as a kid worrying about injuries on the players. I never gave it a second thought. It was never, the players just, I turned on the TV and the same players played, whether it's the Yankees, the Knicks. I never, injuries were never in my mind. I never thought about it. And now, it's just, that's all there is. These guys just, and you would think, in today's world where these athletes are, they don't need second jobs. They're not like in the past where they didn't get paid. Like these guys are making quadrillions of dollars. They have the best chefs, the best trainers, the best of everything. They can't, there's nothing they can't have access to make themselves comfortable. And they can't stay on the field or the court for 2 straight days. I don't understand it. As a trainer, something's going on here. And now the Yankees, it's not even, they're in spring training and the main players don't even play. They go and have a catch on the sideline for 5 minutes under a beautiful sunshiny day. And then they go in and have a nice soak in the tub, maybe a nice sauna, and they go home. Where are you getting hurt? It's like if I just, came out of my house and got in the car and somehow I sprained an ankle and tore my elbow in half. I mean, can these guys even take a shower without getting hurt? What is happening to these players? You know what's happening? They are extremely soft. They're not like the players of the past. And so the Yankees, they're coming. First of all, I'm not going to say that about Brunson, right? I'm a big, watching the Knicks. Brunson against the Lakers last week took a terrible, terrible twist. Brunson plays through everything. So if he's not playing, he's really hurt. So it's hard to even watch the Knicks without him, which they're playing tonight. And I'll subject myself to, because I'm a glutton for punishment. Glutton free, of course. You don't want to have too much glutton in your punishment. Glutton free. So anyway, he is hurt. But the Yankees, three of them are already hurt already. Stanton, which is a recurrence every year. This guy can't start the season. Their rookie of the year last year, Luis Gil, spelled with a G, hurt already, 2-3 months out. And now they're like, Garrett Cole, there's elbow. Could he need some? Like, what are you doing? You just had the whole off season. You didn't take care of yourself. Like, you just had 3 months off. Now you come to spring training and that's it. 2 days and you're ready to cash in on the season. I honestly, I know it won't make a hill of beans of a difference, but I don't think that these players should get paid for if they're gonna, right away. See, I'm sorry. They have to have some kind of pay for play or how much you're on incentive to stay on the field. Because now, if he's making $35 million a year, if he doesn't play this year, he gets $35 million for nothing. So, can you take a year off from your job? Get a little toe fixed, and take a year off from your job. Get your toe fixed, and still get paid $35 million? Probably not. If you do, let me know where the link is, because I want to try to get hired for that job. I just don't know. I don't know what these guys are doing. But anyway, it's a little bit of a rant. Oh, this is great. You got to hear this story. I'll do this. Is it 7 o'clock? 6:57. I got time for this. I'll do this real quick because I thought this was really interesting. So there's a little battle going on between New York and Texas. It's a beef battle. And here, let me show you. You see that? It's a slab of steak right there. So there's a little battle going on. It says here, Texas wants to rename the iconic New York strip steak, and they want to call it, what do they want to call it? And this is coming from the lieutenant governor. So it shows you where they really have their eyes on the prize there in these states. What they got there, I don't want to hear about no Medicaid or Social Security crap. I want the name of the New York strip steak changed to Texas strip. I believe that's what they want. Is that what they want? Yeah, they want to call it the Texas strip, which they already have many Texas strip houses, but that's not steak. This is apparently to the beef, and it's a New York strip, which I don't eat red meat anyway. But I thought it was interesting that this is where this guy is at. This is the time. So you're the lieutenant, you're the governor of the state, the great state, by the way, the Lone Star state of Texas. I've been to Texas. I was in San Antonio. I signed the book at the Alamo. So don't tell me I don't know Texas. I love it there. Wonderful people. The green earth, the salt of America is in Texas. Everything is bigger and better there, including their bellies. But it says here, this is funny. So, who is this guy? This meat market guy. He's a third generation president of meat on Long Island. He says, our Long Island meat merchant called Patrick's proposal an utter joke. An utter joke. No pun intended. He says, I'm not trying to start any beef with Texas. But he said the New York Strip will remain the New York Strip. Well, I don't understand. Is that do they have license to that, calling it the New York Strip? Is that like a copyright or trademark? I don't think so, right? Texas can have their Texas strip steak. And so we looked into this because, this is a hard-hitting 7 o'clock, by the way. The gongs are going off. I'm going to get to my announcement momentarily, so sit tight. But there's other meats that are named after well-known places, right? You have London broil, the great London broil, which is another cut of meat. St. Louis, baby back ribs, famous for their ribs. So you have these iconic names of meat, and the New York Strip. Now, where does the New York Strip, how did this start? It got its name from Delmonico's Steakhouse in New York City, which was in Manhattan during the 19th century and labeled the beef cut as New York Strip. I like my history, and I wanted to find out who really named the New York Strip. So it was at Delmonico's. Now, not to be confused with Sparks Steakhouse, which we know is where local kingpin and mafioso Paul Castellano was gunned down. Now, any good mafia boss needs to be gunned down outside a steakhouse. Because steak will kill you one way or the other, whether it's outside getting shot by a mob boss or inside with the clogged arteries. One way or another, you're going home in a body bag anytime you're dealing with hunks of red meat. So, as a trainer, as a health conscious person, someone that is your fitness consultant, someone that is preaching and is working on Dumbbells, the great American TV show that is yet to be aired, I implore you, give up. It's Lent. Maybe stop with the red meat for a while, right? What did you give up for Lent? Not that you have to. I'm not getting into a religious war here. And you don't have to give up something. People were at, what did you give up for Lent? Ooh, Lent. What did you give up? You don't have to give up something. Whether it's food, people, I gave up cookies, soda, blah, 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 which is a good thing, whatever positive thing. But you could do a task. You could say, I'm going to read a little bit each night. I'm going to do something positive each night, a little something different. It doesn't have to be, I'm not going to drink or something like that. Whatever. But that was just wanted to give you a little red meat story. I always like to throw a little beef in my show. Little beef in the show. 7 o'clock, 7:02. So what's the big announcement? All right, hang on to your hat, and I'm hanging on to mine. April 4th through April 6th. April 6th to be exact. I believe is a Sunday. I will be, yours truly, will be running in Washington, D.C. And I'm not running for any local or political office. Don't get excited. I know you were. You thought I was running for office. I'll be running on foot. I will be running in the great traditional cherry blossom race, which I've been trying to get into every year. It's a very, very hard race to get into. They do a lottery, just like they do for the New York City Marathon. Fortunately, this year, the cherry blossom people did something different. What did they do? They gave people an opportunity that if you registered and you got in, and if, say, you found out you couldn't run the race, you could transfer it to another party. So that's how I got it. I was on a Facebook group, and I was trying, and somebody transferred their bib, if you will. They couldn't race, so I got it transferred. So that's going to be April 6th. So that's all part of why I was in my run and really in my zone. It wasn't just a normal training, day run on a Saturday for just to enjoy. It was I was really locked in. So it got me even more mad that I almost got plowed over by a car. That is not the way I want to go out. I don't want to get hit by a car while I'm running. So many other better ways. That's not how I want to go. Running's hard enough than dodging cars at the same time. So, but the blossom should be a great run. It's the cherry blossom run. It's where the cherry blossoms are blooming. It should be very nice. You run in between the monuments, maybe Lincoln Memorial, Washington Monument, all those real historic. Now, it's funny, I did the Rocky Run in Philadelphia, which is also very historic for its Thomas Jefferson. It's very Jeffersonian, right? Very colonial. They're big on because it's where the Declaration of Independence was. So now we're going to D.C. and again another historical spot. So I don't. It just by happenstance this event happened in this order. So I'm doing back to back. Now after this run, I don't know of too many others that are on my bucket list that I really want to do. So this could be my last one, my last competitive run. And if it is, that'll be that. So we'll go out with a bang. I'll try to win it. I'll try. I'll try to go as fast as I can. No, but but never knows. Maybe. But I was just trying to think. Is there anything else But nothing comes to mind. Then you're just running to run because I've done the New York City half and full. I've done the Long Islands. I've done now the Rocky Run, and this would be the Cherry Blossom Run, and these are the kind of the most popular runs. I mean, of course, there's the Boston Marathon, but I have no interest in going anywhere near Boston. I am not a fan of Boston. You know that. As a Yankee fan, I don't know part of Boston. And Chicago has a famous one too, but there's no interest in that. That's not on my bucket list. I'm sorry. Anyway, there's another show, and this is on Netflix. I think it's a show. It's a series called Running Point, starring Kate Hudson. So she takes over. She's takes over a basketball team. Okay, so she's the hard, tough, right, female woman that takes over a basketball team. No nonsense. And I was trying to think to myself, that storyline sounds so familiar. But that Netflix wouldn't copy something. I mean, they're Netflix for God's sake. And then I dug a little deeper. Not much. I only had to dig to Kate Hudson's mother, Goldie Hawn, who did Wildcats many moons ago, which wasn't a show, it was a movie. And she took over a football team as a tough female football coach. Oh, Netflix, be better than that. I mean, at least do something a little more obscure. Not for God's sake, the person that's starring in the movie, you're stealing the mother's thunder who created that role. Now you're having Kate Hudson. Now I love Kate Hudson. She's funny. She's good. And she's actually good. Um, who doesn't? But Goldie Hawn is Goldie Hawn. I mean, you're still in her shadow. So, but if you watch Running Point, watch Wildcats with Goldie Hawn. I mean, what are you doing? It's the same. Everything is repetitive, and this is what irks me. I tell you this all the time when I pitch dumbbells, and they are trying to give me this. We need something fresh and new and different. No, you don't. I mean, how many court shows are on TV? How many medical dramas? How many law dramas? They're all the same. L.A. Law, Law and Order, CSI, NCIS, ABC, whatever you got. It doesn't make a difference. Just put the letters in some kind of order and call it a show. So, you know. And definitely reach out to me. I'm still in the market for a good cult. If you have one that you can recommend, again, Stephen R. Kaminsky, reach out to me. Preferably after the race. I don't want to be involved because that's going to take a lot of time of mine to invest in joining a cult. And I have some criteria. I don't want one. I don't want an angry cult. Something a little more fun. See if you could find me something a little more motivating and spiritual. It's a bug in the screen. It's that time of year. with the bugs and the gnats. It's gonna be coming soon. I'm starting to see it a little bit. They're starting to wake up. Speaking of which, this is the anniversary. They come out once every 17 years. Those cicadas, or as they say in the Midwest, cicada. They are in the trees. They're that constant noise that you hear in the summertime, July, August, and it drives you crazy. And then one sometimes falls on your head, and you're like, ah! That is the great cicada. And so I believe this is their year where they come and they'll be in the Northeast, of course. So be ready for that this summer. But still, I don't care. I would take plague, locusts, and whatever else you can throw at me to be in warm weather as opposed to frigid weather. I am not a fan of the cold weather. So March for me signifies there's hope because we're coming into springtime. Now, just in case, I'm hoping I'm doing this show at the right time. Did you turn your clocks or head? How many got confused? Raise your hand. What I did was just to save time. I turned my clock ahead 3 weeks ago. So I've been ahead for the last 3 weeks of everybody. So now it's good to finally be in sync with everybody. I was an hour ahead of everybody else. I knew who was going to win the Oscars before they even were announced because I'm an hour ahead. I actually went into the future. But you could do that if you just turn your microwave clock ahead or your oven clock. Then you're set. This is warm. It is nothing like a warm Celsius. It is terrible. Just terrible. New York Strip. Stay with the New York Strip. It sounds better. So this is also an anniversary. And I know I've been talking about this show a little bit to an nauseum, but I don't know why it's kind of bringing up memories of my childhood, or as a youth. So or as Joe Pesci says, Ute. So I kind of have a nostalgic feeling to this show. Of course, the Brady Bunch, right, or any of those shows. So I'm watching. Some of them come on my Instagram. You get they just pop up on the reels, and you see like a mini clip, and you're like, oh, that's cute. But then I noticed today is the 50th anniversary of the last show of the Brady Bunch. Now, I'm going to ask you a trivia question. You will probably not get it unless you're a Brady fan or someone locked in. Steve would get it because he knows, like I said, every obscure trivia television fact because he spent his whole life watching television. But here's the question. So 50 years ago today, the last episode of the Brady Bunch aired. The question is, what was that episode? Do you remember that episode? I'm going to give you 10 seconds to mull it over before I give you the answer. I'm going to let you think about it, marinate it in a New York strip marinade, and then we'll see what you come up with. You ready? Okay. Here we go. It is the wonderful episode where Bobby is selling hair tonic. You remember the hair tonic he was selling? And he tried it on Greg's hair, and Greg's hair turned orange. Now, Greg had a graduation the next day. His graduation was the next day, so panic ensues. So his mom, Mrs. Brady, Carol, takes Greg to her beauty salon and to get his hair dyed back to normal color so he can make the graduation and everybody can live happily ever after. Now, the interesting note about this last final episode was that Robert Reed, Mike, the dad, did not appear in this episode. He thought the script was so ridiculous and so absurd, as opposed to the others that were real concrete, hard-hitting, journalistic, real integrity shows. Oh, my nose! Oh, my nose! But you know what I'm saying. So, now, hold on a minute. Hold the phone. speaking of phones, there it is. So he did not appear. And just as a footnote at the end, Greg graduates. They all come in the house, and Carol goes, "Oh, I wish your father didn't have to be out of town and miss your graduation." Like Mike Brady, the dad of the TV dad of the century, right? He's like your TV. He's the great TV dad. Would miss his son's high school graduation to go away on business. Come on, of course not. So I wouldn't even have. They could have changed the line and said, "Oh, your dad's pulling in the car" or something like that, or he went up to bed already. Like, well, you didn't need to say that line just to kind of cover it up. Nobody probably would have said, well, he wasn't in the episode, but it wasn't necessary, Sherwood. So there was something I wanted to ask you. And let me see if I can find it now. See, I wanted to do this. There's a contest going on. MeTV.com. Go to MeTV.com. If you're really a kid that grew up with all of those wonderful shows, the Gilligan's Islands, the Brady Bunches, and all of the shows through time, if you go to MeTV, METV.com, they're having a contest for, I don't know what they're having. It's vote for the ultimate TV famous phrase. So let's see. I'm going to see if I can, okay. All right, so let me see if they give, we're looking at the TV lines. So like give you some examples. Wow, so this starts it starts next Sunday, March 16th. Do they have, what phrase will take home? Vote now. Oh, so you can vote now. Let's see what I'll vote for. Close. Boy, they really make you go through the hoops and ladders just to see. Okay, so let's try a couple. The Andy Griffith Show. Now this, I don't know this. This is not a good one. Let me go next. Oh, you have to. Okay, next. Okay, so they're giving you some famous ones. So one could be "Good evening." That's Alfred Hitchcock. That's his famous phrase, "Good evening." Remember, he would always say that. Or that's all, folks. From the Bugs Bunny and Friends. Which do you like better, "Good evening" or "That's all, folks"? I'm gonna go with "Good evening." I've been in an Alfred Hitchcock. Oh, I'm on the minority. 72% like that's all, folks. Let's try a couple more. Nah, that's not good. That is not good. It's just not good. These are just not good. I'm trying to get one that we would all know. Well, here's one. If you remember the Andy Griffith Show, and I think Gomer Pyle would go Shazam, 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 or Laverne and Shirley, Vodio Do Do. Remember, she'd say that instead of using the word, like messing around, Vodio Do Do. I'll go with Laverne and Shirley. I think that's. Oh, again, I'm in the minority. Oh boy, I'll give you one more. That isn't that. Not good. I'm not really loving it. I want to get one that's really good. Oh, here's one. And speaking of the Brady Bunch, we'll end on this one. Holy blank, Batman. They leave out the blank, because he would always say, something, "Holy outrageous, Batman. Holy robbers, Batman." Or Marcia, Marcia, Marcia. Marcia, Marcia, Marcia. Jan was always complaining about Marcia. Meanwhile, Eve Plum had her own. She was fine. I'm going with Marcia, Marcia, Marcia. Oh, that was close. 55% liked Robin's better. So if you go on MeTV.com, there's many of these. You could spend hours wasting your time picking out which slogan or phrase you like the best. And that's only round one. You do this I guess they have a round by round. Then they have a semifinals and a finals. This will take up a good half a year. They'll get to the end by about summertime, maybe even into the fall. So this is what you could fixate on. I'm perfect for wasting time stuff. Healing a broken heart, are you? You came to the right place. Steve knows how to heal a broken heart. It says letting go may be good for all around well-being. So if you, now this person looks really upset. Healing a broken heart, meaning relationship. You just broke up with somebody. It says talk about it. Celebrate your freedom. It says you look at the bright side. You've had this albatross around. Now you guys have broken up. All right? Hey, you're free now. Okay. Seek professional help is always a good way to go. When you get out of those, file a restraining order usually ends up helping to heal a broken heart. Get that restraining order going. Find the silver lining. You never really like them anyway. There's always a silver lining. I don't know what that expression is. Ask for reparations. I mean, this is not, I don't understand that. It says ask for reparations. I mean, you didn't just succeed from the Union. Isn't that, what is this? Abe Lincoln looking for reparations from the Southern Confederate States? I don't understand that. Reflect on your role in the breakup. Maybe you were the jerk. Maybe you weren't so nice. Sometimes it's not just the other person. Sometimes point the finger this way. It's not me. It's you. That's usually the way to go. Make art into pain. So say you have a breakup. Just look at American Idol, right? They all write breakup songs. I mean, what better way to turn a heartache into money and cash than writing a breakup song, a love song, or some kind of nonsense. But we all can't do that, right? You got to be a songwriter to do that. So that's not really good advice. And that's, wow. That's terrible. She said, but, embrace your future. A lot of these are just fugazi. Yeah, these are not good. I can't believe they wasted a whole set. Newsday's getting to me. As much as I try to give them a pass on some things, they're really not giving me good material. I'm going to have to switch next week. Well, next week we'll be back in the studio, and I'm going to try to book another guest for you. I really got a good feedback. People like having guests in the show, which I could take one of two ways. That they really enjoy finding out about other people, or B, they really just can't listen to me anymore. I'm thinking it's B. But if you go on stevesquare.com, you can vote. No, I'm just kidding. You can't vote because this is not a democracy. I run a tight ship here. This is my show. You don't want to watch? Go somewhere else. But don't go too far. Let me see what else we got here. I had something better for you. They're talking about how a lot of the theaters, if you want to go to a good theater, a South Bay Cinema in, I believe it's Babylon-ish area on Montauk Highway, $10 movies. They just opened up. I was just reading about them. They show all the main movies, but they're $10. I think they give unlimited popcorn if you're a popcorn person. You might even get yourself a good New York strip steak there. Again, I yield to Steve. Steve knows every movie. Steve's an AMC movie guy because he has the AMC movie pass thing where they give you these elite privileges. You can see up to 9 movies a day. I digress. I give him a hard time. I love Steve. Even though he went to the radio jamboree this weekend. But trying to see which one is, South Bay Cinema in West Babylon is really, if you're looking to go to a movie theater, forget the other AMC, because the movie tickets have gotten so expensive. So this place charges $10. And they show all the main movies. Speaking of which, what is this Mickey 17. It hit the box office. Number one movie right now. Is Robert Pattinson plays him like twins of himself. I can't even stand them once, and he's playing twins. Remember how awful he was in the Batman? He was terrible in that. Alongside Lenny Kravitz's daughter Zoe, who was also garbage in that movie. Ugh, terrible. I should be a movie critic. I hate everything. All movies are garbage. Too long, and they're garbage. They're wasting my time. I just don't enjoy them anymore. Never did, but. And it says here, this is interesting, because it's getting to be that time of year again, that you might want to think about a camp for your kids. Now, I never went to camp as a child. I wasn't from the camp world, which I don't know if I really wanted to. I might have liked a little Lyme disease, a little lice. I wanted to, something like that, a little athlete's foot for the summer. I might have enjoyed a little bit of that, but send your kids to camp. But now they have all different kinds. It used to be camp, used to be more swimming, whatever, outdoors activities. Now they have, math camp and, I don't know, in case you enjoyed math so much you can't get enough of it, you got to meet a group of people in the woods and do math, which is always fun. So you could do that, but if you go to Newsday camps, they'll have a list of where you can get rid of your children. I'm sorry, send them to camp to enjoy a summer. Not to get rid of them, God forbid. Boy, I'll tell you, I was watching, if you go on ABC News, on any of your social media, or if you, Google it up, there was a high school race going on where the girls were running in the relay with the batons. One girl is passing the other girl, clocks her right over the head, not by accident, hauls off and smashes her over the head. The girl goes flying down, grabs her head, concussion, knocked out. Everybody else just keeps running. And they're like no big deal. They're like, well, they're investigating to see if it was done on. Please, you can't let me explain this to you. You have to just go and look for yourself. ABC News. Wow, this is ridiculous. This girl should have been brought up on charges. She just clocked this other girl right in the head. I'm all for competitive sports. But this was an assault and battery charge right here. She really gave her a good clock. This is, what do you think about this? This is a little quick, dear Abby, dear Caroline, dear whatever. Well, I got two quick ones for you, and this will be perfect. 726. The first one is it crazy to give your child the ultimatum that, indeed, she may marry at any time, but we, as her parents, will not pay for the event until she is 25, putting contingencies on the age that they will pay for the wedding? I think she is entirely too young, 21. She believes she is an adult enough to marry. So I say go ahead, but you are going to have to pay for it. So what do you think? You think that's okay? I do. I think if you're, first of all, if I was the parents, I wouldn't be paying for any of this nonsense anyway. Whether you're 21 or 25, it's most likely going to end up in a divorce. I would say, yeah, I would write up a contract with the daughter. I'd say, no problem. I'll pay for your marriage now that you're getting married at, 14 years old. Great. Go ahead. But when it ends in a divorce, I want that money back. And I'm holding you to it. Or you're going on Judge Judy. That's what I would say. Because 21 is ridiculous. It is too young. Especially now. I'm not talking about, we're not talking about years gone by where you were waiting, 21? I couldn't even pick a major at 21. I think I was still in elementary. I was still in junior high at 21. I was still in middle school. All right. And let's ask the other guy. The other guy, Eric. Says, I've had the same dentist for the past 15 years. I think we all stick with our dentist, right? Dentist is a very hard to find. When you get a good one, you want that guy. Or dental hygienist. I've had the same for many years. Within the past year, I have found myself wanting to know him on more than a bicuspid level. Hmm. More than a orally hygiene. I'm getting a spam call. Excuse me. Let's see. You want to see who this is? Let's do it right on the air. Hello. Welcome to the Steve Squared
Hello.
Show.
Hi, this is Andrea calling from Legal Health Center. How are you?
Hey, welcome to the Steve Squared Show. Oh, they hung up. They got nervous. My spam. She's calling from legal assistance somewhere in, who knows? Me answering that call was probably like a $40 call. Anyway, it says, within the past year, I have found myself wanting to know my dentist on a more personal level. Now, what is more personal than being inside somebody's mouth? Who knows? But on a dental level, I think there is. I know he is not involved in a relationship, and he seems interested as well. Right? How does he seem interested as well? Your gums are looking mighty fine lately. How should I proceed? I would say very cautiously. Start with maybe take him out for a couple of mouthwash, a couple of shots of mouthwash. Ask him what kind of mouthwash he recommends. I'll tell you what the answer is. If he says Listerine, zero alcohol, that's a keeper. You date that, you marry that dentist. So I don't understand. After 15 years, you're just finding out now that you have a thing for your dentist? Which doctor do you prefer to date? I mean, would a dentist be a good mate? They make pretty good money, But don't put all your eggs in one basket. Do you have a chiropractor? Maybe your acupuncturist has been looking attractive to you lately. There's many doctors that you can, or people that do our work for us. That maybe you have a thing for your Uber driver. You never know. Keep your options open. That's what I would say. Keep your options open. That's what I think I'll end with at 7:30. Keep your options open. That's what life's all about. Options. And when you run out of options, hopefully you're in your 90s. Meanwhile, if I was you, go to Texas, book a flight, go to Texas, order yourself a New York strip steak, get it, drive to the the governor of Texas' house, and whip the steak leave it right on his front lawn. Right on the lawn, New York strip. Attaway. That's how I handle my business. Anyway, see what happens when I do accents? They never work out well. Anyway, let me thank, first of all, our gracious hosts, the Gyms, for so kindly letting me use the studio to do the Steve Squared Show this evening. And, of course, Astro the Wonder Dog for always his great insight into the Steve Squared Show. I thought Steve might call in. I guess he was preoccupied. I'm still confused with the time change. I give Steve a couple of weeks to get adjusted. Anyway, check out the Knicks are playing tonight, 10:30, Sacramento. That should be another fun game. That should be another disaster. What I'm trying to do for Lent is to watch a Knick game without cursing, which is really hard to do for me. I'm so invested in my cursing, but I'll do the best I can. Anyway. Oh, I've had Kermit the Plant. I'm going to be, next week is St. Patrick's Day on Monday. Next Monday in the studio it's going to be our St. Patrick's Day show. It's going to be fun. We'll be in green. I'll unveil my new plant. There's going to be a lot of things. I'll see what I could do about getting a leprechaun in the studio. I don't know. Who knows what we could have. It's going to be chaos. But it's going to be crazy. Next week, Monday, the 17th, on the Steve Squared Show, we'll be in the studio, 6:30. For this and all other shows, go to Gov's Comedy Club Podcast. You can check us out and see all our past shows. Of course, Dumbbells. We'll be putting on Stephen R. Kaminsky, my Instagram. Check it out there. And that's about it for this Monday, March 10th. So everybody out there, have a wonderful evening, a safe evening. Enjoy the spring weather. Start getting out, going for a walk. Enjoy some of that sunshine. Enjoy the extra hour. It's now 25 hours in a day. I didn't know that. It's not a 24-hour day. Now it becomes 25 hours. I don't know how they do that. It's all celestially, astronomically done. It's very confusing. I don't want to get into it now at 7:33. For myself. Funny Man Stevie K. Have a wonderful